What's up YouTube? It's Bluey here, and today we're going to be talking about the Diablo 2 Resurrected Season 13 ladder start. Now I know that 99.99999% of players are going to be playing Warlock. I personally am going to be starting Sork. The reason why I'm starting Sork is simple. 1. Teleport. 2. I'm going to farm items that are Warlock related and sell them for 10 times the price because everyone's playing Warlock, right? And so that's how I'm going to fund my Sorceress to get it geared. And then my second character will be Warlock. But yeah, this is going to be a little guide on Act 1 and how I believe Act 1 specifically is the most important act to get wealth, get your gold, make sure you have your TP tomes and ID tomes, and why the Den of Evil is so important. I'm going to be showing you guys a little Warlock playthrough and kind of the decisions I make on how to make that gold, which skill trees to use. You can use whatever you want. The Warlock's OP, everybody knows that. But yeah, I really hope you enjoy. And if you like what you see, please give a sub. And don't forget to check out my Twitch. Who is Bluey? Okay, let's get right into it. All right. So as you see here, I selected the Warlock. The way I look at it is you have obviously the three trees, right? So you have three starting options. Now, I've tested most of them. Magic I find is strong. It's okay early. It's less mana than fire is, right? Fire costs 8 mana. If you want the fastest experience, my opinion is to go fire. Just put one, you already have 1 point in here. Just get to level 6 to get the Ring of Fire. Don't waste a skill respec, okay? Just 1 to 6 will be bad, but as soon as you get 6, then you just basically go to Akara, and then you just fill up your whole inventory with mana potion. Mana, and then I would say probably 10 to 12 stamina pots, and that's all you need, and you're good to go. And you're going to be doing this where you alt click, and fill up your belt, right? It's good to note that Ring of Fire does more damage per yard. That means the very outer rim of the fire circle does the most damage. So keep that in mind. Don't just like run up to the monster and hit it. Fire obviously being the best, but there's so much mana. What you could do is just go and farm tower a couple times, get an F tier, make the rumored helmet, and get the 2 mana per kill. That's a good solution. Now, the way I look at it is there's two types of players. One, the players that'll just join 8-person party groups and just rush through, not caring about loot, basically doing it as fast as they possibly can. When I personally do that play style, it makes me feel kind of sick. I feel rushed. I feel like I'm not getting loot. Diablo 2 isn't about the race, okay? It's the experience. And a lot of people may disagree with me there, but I think you need to have a good time. And if you like doing that, fine. Go get to hell, beat Hell Bell, unlock Terra Zones, be the best, you know? Ooh, like whatever. But personally, I don't like doing that, so I like to take my time. I like to farm the tower, I like to farm cows, I like to get all the bases and the rune words and insight and everything going so that when I'm playing, it's a comfortable experience where I feel slightly overpowered every single act, every single step of the way. But like I said, do whatever makes you happy. For today's purpose of the video, I'm gonna go demon. With some testing, people have been asking, oh, do I put 1 point in summon Goatman, or then I max demonic mastery, and then do I go to summon tainted? I've tested everything, and what I think is the most comfortable is to do the summon Goatman. Get it to level 5 right away, because there's a hidden buff that the Goatmen get at 1, 3, and 5, I believe. Basically, there's 3 abilities the Goatmens get. One is Frenzy, which is just like the Barb skill. The second one is Cleave, Stun. It's like a stun, like the Barb skill. So whatever you do, if you're going Demon, put 5 points into this to unlock those 3 skills like I just talked about. The reason why I think Den of Evil is the most important thing in this act is because that's where you get your gold from. Now, if you're not playing Warlock, they did increase the dagger drop rates for the Warlock skills. Like you can get, +3 to summon Goatman and whatever. But if you're not playing Warlock, just keep them, get the staves, get the daggers, the claws, whatever sells for the most, the potions, and then sell them for your gold. But let's say you have 20,000 gold, you have your tomes, you don't need anything else. Don't sell all the daggers, because the Act 1 normal cap for selling items is 5,000. That's the most you can get paid. So if you put them, you come over here, you put them into your stash, and then as soon as you get to Act 2, you sell them, you get 10,000 gold. So that's a good way to double your money. But yeah, with no more stalling, let's get into it. All right, so the plan is we walk out here, and we kill shit and we find Den of Evil. That's step one. So let's go do that. Now, if you notice here, when I'm casting, there's a little bit of a delay, but you can just literally go up and one-shot the monsters. So if you want to save your mana, okay, this is embarrassing. Where's my attack rating? If you want to save your mana, just do that, right? Now, remember I was talking about before, these potions sell, and also they do pretty good damage. It's level 6, but it is, 24 damage. Okay, streamer client, got a rare ring. All right, so Den of Evil, boom, right here. Okay. If you have 2 people in your game, if you're playing in a party, make sure one person TPs right here or at the very start right here. That way you can go in and out, go to town, and then come back here and not have to run that distance of the path to keep going. Little pointer for you. All right, so we're halfway in the level already, which is a good start. We're gonna get to level 2 to get the Goatman. All right, now that we're level 2, put the Goatman on. I'm just gonna put this 1 F2. As you see, I'm just picking up everything right now, but what we're looking for is the daggers and basically the staffs to make that money. To then, you want to have the Tomb of Identify and Tomb of Town Portal right when you leave the town. And about, if you get a really godly Den of Evil, then you'll get, like 12 of each, but it's all RNG. So when I play Ladder Reset, I like to farm the tower a bunch of times, make sure I have the runes for stealth, and if I'm playing any fire builds, like for my Sork, I'm going to get Leaf, and obviously a lot of the fire warlocks are going to get Leaf because it's OP, because you can use the staff in one hand. Everybody knows that already. Let's put another point. Like I said, resummon. One really cool thing I like about the Warlock is the attack animation. There's a build that I want to try about, and I haven't seen anyone post it, is using the bow that gives you multi-shot, strafe, or guided arrow, and then basically just maxing this for your damage and this for the burst, and then having a floating bow that you can shoot and does a lot of damage. I think that'll be pretty cool. That's probably going to be my second build that I play. Obviously, it's not going to be as powerful as the 170,000 echoing strike damage. Everyone knows this OP because it has the base damage. When it's fully maxed, it gives 2,000 base. So if you put on a Wurtzleg, the Wurtzleg meme, right, you're gonna do more damage than a melee barber paladin or a boson with no weapon on. So that's probably going to be nerfed. I think it should be nerfed. We'll see. I know that Blizzard likes to sell their expansions by making the character overpowered. If they nerf it, great. If they don't, it is what it is, right? I really hope, though, that they buff the other classes that aren't viable. Like, for example, in PD2, when an Amazon puts enough points in Cold Arrow and Magic Arrow, they get extra projectiles. I think Diablo 2 needs to take that kind of concept for the skills that are weak and buff them up. Another thing that people don't really talk about is I find a lot of the times on the ladder reset, people don't really take care of themselves. I have a friend. I'm gonna shout him out here, and I'm not trying to like like talk shit anyway. But my buddy Riley, he literally plays until like 4 in the morning until his brain hurts and he can't function. That is not a good plan. Make sure you're still drinking at least 2 liters of water, you're going for a walk, exercising, treating your family well. If you have pets, walk them, that kind of thing. The ladder reset comes and goes, but real life is here forever. Keep that in mind. 200 IQ. All right. So, I'm gonna run up here, get the Cold Plains waypoint, and then I'll go back. I unfortunately was really unlucky with my drops, and I won't have enough gold to get what I told you about the 12 and 12 for the tomes, but that's okay. So we will go back. What my plan is, if you do run the summoner build like I'm running, and keep in mind I do think fire is way better. I'm not trying to debate that at all. I think it's worth it to go and get the mercenary. So you have to go kill Blood Raven, so that's where I'm gonna be heading right now. I'm gonna try this path. I feel like that path is stony, so we're about to find out. Oh, and by the way, you see how I have 2 points of demon, and he is doing that stun attack, and then we put 3 points into it, resummon. Aha, 200 IQ, hit the burial ground. So this is where I'm gonna put a TP here. Let's see what this ring is. That's not bad. Let's go kill Blood Raven. I'll use the stun attack. He saw it over his head. So all I'm going to do is resummon him. Use some of these bolts. And boom. I'm going to take that skull cap here just to put on my mercenary. The reason why I like, if you're playing the demon build, to go the mercenary is because this guy right here is going to tank for you a lot of the time, right? He's going to go right in the front, and then you have the arrows coming back in the behind him, which is nice. Again, you don't have to do any of this. You can just run straight through. The game is really easy, so it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna hire coal. Well, the cold arrows required level 6, so let's not do that. Let's go with fire here. Another point into the goatman. We got to get him to level 5. You'll see why. All right, that's some BS. Literally like 60 gold for that. All right, that's fine. But this, see what I was telling you about the potions? 480 gold per potion. So that's going to help me. Now, I don't think this is worth identifying. Either is that. 1 gold value. Okay, basically we're just going to sell all this shit. We're going to keep these, right? Because I told you we need those for movement. Get a couple of these going. Sell, sell, sell. If you were playing the fire build, you would basically just be using the level 1 bolt until you got to level 6. And as you saw, I killed Bloodraven, no problem. It's a little bit overtuned at the start, in my opinion. Either way, I'm going to buy the 2 books. Got the books, get a couple in each here. All right, I won't use all my gold. We got to 10. So like I said, a good run, you usually get 12 to 13 in each of these. You can buy a couple more of these, 1 mana pot, and you're good to go. The next thing is if you had enough gold, you would gamble for a rare bow for your merc. Unfortunately, I don't have enough for that, so I'm gonna, that's good enough. All right, let's put this on. Okay, so now we have a merc doing 5 to 20, and our demons are doing 14 to 15. So the demons scale pretty well. Now we're just gonna go back to the waypoint. I don't have the waypoint. That's so embarrassing. I didn't even get the waypoint. That's okay. We'll skip it. We'll skip it. As you can see, you see the frenzy animation. He has the frenzy animation, and then he'll get the cleave attack next. So that's really good because that's movement speed and attack speed. As you see, like you don't even need to do anything. And it just owns everything. And then some people will debate saying like, oh, but if you can get a second demon, but yeah, but then you're not getting those 3 abilities that we talked about. Plus, you're only getting 10% damage, and 10% damage of the level 1 is less damage than putting hard points in. And as you can see with the bow merc, she's one-shotting, plus my guy one-shotting, no problem at all here. Some people, what they do is they'll rescue Kane and then just run Trist runs. It may be like 20%, maybe 30% more XP to just spam Trist runs, but like playing the actual game and doing the tower runs, you get the EXP anyways, and then you get further ahead into the Act 1 story. And I know at the start I said they increased the dagger drop rates, and they did, but I haven't had one yet, which is kind of a little embarrassing. All right, here's Rakanishu. Let's see how badly he gets 2 shot. I'll find the waypoint for you guys, because I know if I keep going and if anybody watches this, they'll be like, why didn't you look for the waypoint? A little bit more strength here. I think the Warlock, you need about 25 strength to use all your books and shit in the future, so keep that in mind. There we go. See the stamina pots coming in hot. You can see the cleave and the frenzy coming in clutch now. He just killed all 3 of those in 1 shot, and you see how fast he is. So I personally think if we're going to play the summoner, max the goatman first, then late game do the defiler. So make sure you have 2 defilers, and it'll be around like 50-60% of the damage shared. And so how that works is they put little green circles under the enemies, and then you just get a bind demon like Hephaestus or one of the Uber demons, and then he basically one-shots the enemy even on like P6, P7, and then the damage spreads, so you have your AoE. So that's kind of like the summoner build. Or you can do pure Goatman, and then once you max it in the synergies, that crushing blow to do Ubers. It's pretty slow though. Pretty unlucky here for the waypoint. Oh man, that's unfortunate. It's probably up there. Let's go get it. Oh, right here. Okay. I said the den is the most important area to get the gold, but now we have the gold, we have the tomes, we're set, we got the mark, we got the gear, right? If you have more gold, make sure you gamble. And then I personally think getting some runes is great. So obviously I'm going to get the waypoint in the tower, and then farm there. But whatever you do, just make sure you're not baited by Reddit or any of the hardcore, like, I love OP classes fans, because you can play whatever you want, right? Like, you can still do the barb and do the battle orders in an 8-person party and have value, and then you do shout until you farm enough currency to get the grief, and then you switch to Zerk and you farm Trav, right? Or you can do the bow or the Amazon and do you know, the lightning Amazon build. And it's charge strike is very, very strong. You don't even need titans, and then once you get titans you can farm pretty much like hell cows with it. Relatively easy. It's slow, but it's doable, right? Traps in. absolutely amazing early. Everyone knows that, right? Druid, eh, you know, there's some builds it gets done, right? There's still NATO. There's still you can go Poison Creeper at the start, and it's pretty strong. Okay, now that I have it already level 5, I am gonna get 1 point in here. So keep in mind that this is still level 1 and it's doing that much damage. So this like if you just want to do the magic build, this will carry you all the way up and it's way less mana than the fire, right? And even 1 point here will get you to 6. And then once you have this, oh my goodness, it's OP. This is more of a, if you just want to chill and have YouTube or whatever, Twitch in the background, enjoying a show and you don't have to think twice about it kind of gameplay. And it's strong. It'll carry you all the way through. It does slow down a little bit in Nightmare, a little bit in Hell, but very, 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 very chill gameplay. If you are planning on doing the melee setup, in my opinion, I wouldn't go echoing strikes right away. It's good. You can do that, right? Like I would say go with one of the other builds and then switch over. What really makes this shine is because it scales off, it's considered a spell, right? Not an attack, so it scales off FCR. So what really starts to pick it up is when you have the two-handed insight, right, in one hand, and then you have the spirit shield. That gives you the 70% FCR. You may not have a perfect spirit roll, but regardless, and that'll hit your breakpoints. And it just dump. You can do hell P8 pretty easily, even with like a garbage setup. So my advice is if you really love the skill, because you know you need every 5 points. So technically, you're not going to get a second blade until level 17, right? Um, I would, if you really like to play that style, I would switch over right when you get to insight. So whatever, I can't remember the exact level of insight. I think it's 27. Yeah, then I'd switch over to this and have 3 or 4 blades, and then you're gonna clear the game all the way up. But yeah, let's talk about my plans for the ladder reset. Well, I already told you that everyone's going to be playing Warlock, so if I play Sorceress and I just farm Warlock gear, if it drops, then I'm going to be rich, right? It's not that complicated. My plan is to start with Firewall, because Firewall is by far the best starter class of any build in the game, even more broken than the Fire Tree. Maybe not for AoE clear, but for bossing and single target damage, and you can just put the firewalls up, teleport, put the firewalls up, teleport. Super, super quick. So I'm going to do that all the way up until Hell Act 1. And then I'm going to switch to Chain Lightning, and I'm going to play Chain Lightning. And the areas I'm going to farm is Tower, because you can get the Mal runes, the runes, the Ish runes, right? So I'm going to probably farm that like 50 times, maybe even like 200 times. I'm going to make a video of it like, oh, I farmed 200 tower runs, and these are results, because you can still get really good high runes from the ghosts that drop that you kill in there. I think Act 1 and Act 2 are going to be the best zones to terrorize once you get the shards. And I'll tell you why. Because for my strategy specifically, I'm farming Tower and I'm farming Arcane Sanctuary, right? So if I get either one of those shards, I can terrorize all of Act 1 and Act 2. You never want to terrorize Act 4 because there's only 3 zones. There's no like pit, right? There's no like dungeons, not really. So there's a couple, but whatever. And then if the Herald like says it's coming to chase you, you're not going to be able to kill enough elite packs to be able to summon the Herald. So the best way to go about it, in my opinion, is to farm one of the bigger acts. And like I said, you know, you can farm whatever you want, but I'm going to do Arcane Sanctuary and Tower, and then I can terrorize those zones. And if you get a terrorize full Act 2 zone, think about this. You get Arcane, which is 4 routes, Godly for high runes, right? You get Tomes, tons of tomes, right? Think about that, all those monsters. So odds are you may not get to like level 5 Herald, but you'll probably get to level 2. And keep in mind, the faster you get the heralds, the more likely you're going to get a Sunder Charm. When you get a Sunder Charm, you can use the recipe to get the Godly Sunder Charms, and those are going to be worth a lot. And I mean a lot, because the rolls are so many different affixes that you can get. Um, and that'll help you break the resistances. So that's my strategy. Tower and Arcane, I'm going to spam that. Now, if you want, you could do Blizzard and you could farm bosses, but they recently just nerfed the drop rates for Andariel. I was surprised that they did that. For regular and terrorize, they reduce the drop rates for MF. Anyways, so when you're in Black Marsh, if you're not doing the I want to farm the rune strategy, then you can just skip it and go right to Andariel and speedrun in a player 8 game. But for me personally, I love to, farm tower like 8, 9 times, get those extra raw runes, those tier runes, everything going. And keep in mind to make the helmet I'm talking about, I think it's called the deer, you need Neff and tier for the 2 mana after each kill. So if you get that and then you get a socket in your weapon, you put another tier rune in, that's going to solve a lot of your mana problems while leveling. Whereas everyone else is just going to be like, oh my god, this is so tedious. I'm out of mana. They may be faster, but your like gameplay is going to be more enjoyable. Now, I'm going to get a point into this, and that's the teleport. So basically, you can just teleport your demon and it gets a damage buff here. It says damage increased by 5. Now that's pretty good because it only has a 19 to 20 base. So yeah, when you get full inventory, I have so many potions. I don't even need these potions, right? Because I'm playing demon builds OP. You don't need to do anything. I'm just gonna sell all this shit. Whoops, didn't mean to sell that. Ooh, not bad. Hopefully I'll get something like that on my Sork. But yeah, I'm not gonna do the whole entire playthrough for you guys. I will start releasing guides on every single class and playing it up with different builds and specifically like how long should I be farming here? What exact runes do I need? But yeah, I'm gonna be streaming on twitch.tv who is Bluey. So please come and say hi. I hope to see all of you and I'd like to play with you and I got a lot of cool things coming. It's been a long time since I've been streaming Diablo 2, and I'm excited to get the pole gang back. So yeah, come say hi, sub to the YouTube, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.